Welcome back to another episode of Best Ball and Brews. Fantasy Fling here, and I got Razzle with me. We are drafting more best ball teams. We got literally 2 episodes left, one after this one. So trying to get in as many best ball drafts as we can before the start of the season. Raz, how are your best ball drafts going right now for NFL?
They're all right. Problem is most of my drafts were slow drafts over the last month and a half.
Yeah.
Which I think is good from a value perspective, since a lot of the news obviously coming over the last week and a half is driving some guys up the board. But it also then makes me wonder if I'm going to be underweight on guys now that get bonus situations or whatever. So that's my worry.
Sure.
But we will see.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too to kind of monitor the market over the entire offseason. I think one good thing about Underdog is they launched so many new contests that you don't have to play the BBM, for example, which they launched that in I feel like May, and those people that drafted Bill, JCM in the last round, it makes no sense for you to go in the BBM right now and draft him, because people have drafted him in the last round, and you're just not going to beat those teams if he's the guy you need, right?
Right.
But they have a lot of these new contests that are coming out each and every day, so even as value changes quickly, it's like a whole new draft essentially. So that's certainly what I like about it. Have you been doing mainly most of your drafts on DraftKings, Underdog? You been a little bit of both?
Mainly DraftKings.
Yeah.
I guess there's a couple reasons. I like the 20 rounds as opposed to 18. Small thing, but I do like the 2 additional rounds. And to be honest, I just think DraftKings is softer. I know I mentioned that in the chat when you were on the other day. I just think that it's a softer field, and I'm not too prideful in the fact that I'd rather avoid some of the sharp people on Underdog.
100%. Yeah. I mean, why go against sharper people if you can go against a softer field and maximize your ROI,
Right.
So that's why I like playing on drafters. So I love your point about that, because what we're going to do is we are going to start with Underdog, and let us know in the comments if you want to hop over to drafters as well, because this main event, I've been really targeting this because it's 58% full, and we're 9 days until kickoff. And last year there was a lot of overlay. It's projecting to be a lot of overlay again. It's $500K to first, and drafters is very similar to DraftKings. In fact, it might even be softer than DraftKings. So I love playing over there, and it's a fun format. So we can do Underdog drafts, and then if enough people want to hop over to drafters, we can go over there as well. By the way, if you don't have an account there, if you're in the USA or Canada, you can have an account. So that's all. The only requirements, you have to be in the USA or Canada, and you can use my promo code real quick, get signed up, get your 100% deposit match, code FantasyFling. So, Raz, we got the first quarter here. I was thinking of hopping into this one. I really like this style of contest because it's basically 4 weeks and you could potentially get paid out on it. And I feel like over the course of the season, it's much harder to predict, what's going to go on over the course of 17 weeks. But in the start of the season, we've been watching these teams all off season. We got a pretty good feel of, what's going to happen. And it seems more like a DFS mindset than it does a best ball mindset, because it's obviously a much smaller sample size. What are your thoughts on a contest like this?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it, especially because then it basically, I would assume that they're going to come out with another one. Obviously smaller fields, but in season wise. And I'm a big fan of those in season ones. Baseball, for example, I just do a ton of all-star break ones for the second half of the season. Just those smaller time frames obviously fits into what we generally do more. Sure. Obviously, most of our content is daily based, like you kind of mentioned. So we can take advantage of things a little greater. I guess injury wise, like I can see both sides of it, but I think it's better, for those shorter contests where like you don't have to, you're not hurt by somebody out 9 weeks in a, your huge portfolio. So,
Yeah,
it's a ways to also hedge and leverage yourself, right, for your full season portfolio.
for sure.
And so, and I'm always down to hedge my own stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what I like about this format, and why I like playing on Underdog in general, is they have so many formats that different contest styles that a lot of people, they haven't cracked the code for something like this because this isn't like traditional best ball, right? So people are thinking, well, should I stack week one? Should I which weeks should I be stacking? And I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, but we look at the rules here. My general strategy for this is okay. So round one is a 12-person group and 2 people advance from that. And that's week one. Then week two is a 5-person group. 2 people advance from that. And then after week 3, only 1 person advances, and then it's a 374 seat final. So for me, that really is the week that I would be looking to stack. And just kind of historically, when we do back testing at the NFL season, we often see like the first couple weeks of the season, can be pretty lower scoring because, shorter training camp, shorter preseason. These guys only have 3 preseason games. So I'm kind of interested to hear your strategy on this. I know I prefer to, just not do like heavy stacks and maybe, like week 4, look to do a game stack. But that said, it's not a really big contest. So what are your thoughts on kind of stacking in this type of contest?
Yeah, I mean, like the obvious would be to stack similar to what we're doing full season,
Right.
for week 17, etc. I actually think that I'd try to look to combo stack a little bit. I'd almost lean a little more weighted to week 1 as it feels weird, but
Yeah.
obviously just 2 of 12 advance, and then you're at 2 of 5. Like you're a
Right.
smaller field the next 2 after that, where you can kind of get away with something a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to put a little more weight on week 1, but obviously your focus is still winning a 374 person final.
Right.
So kind of look at that as how we're looking at the full season, week 15, 16, and 17 picture.
Yeah.
Look at week 1 and week 4 in this style, I guess. So I'd have a hard time playing somebody that's picking somebody that's highly questionable for week 1 in this
For
kind of
sure.
setting, just because we don't know, like, does that mean that they're still questionable week 2, or are their roles going to be suppressed for week 2 and 3 as they ramp up because they sat out much of the preseason, all that stuff. So yeah, I guess to me, it weights week 1, obviously much stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good because we're a little bit of a contrast there. So I like that. And that's why I wanted to have you on. Raz is, for those of you who don't know, maybe you just stumbled upon the channel today. He does a lot of different content for dfsarmy, mainly MLB and NFL. He's got a lot of big GPP wins. So excited to have him on today. And, I think we're going to hop in a draft here. So we're going to do this one real fast. The weeks 1 through 4, the first quarter. So anyone looking to hop in, I'm going to give it 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So this is so we're in here. We got less than a minute left. Double stacking a bit more for sealing in week 1, and don't stress as much since the weeks are smaller and you don't have to be as perfect. Yeah, it's definitely a strategy. I have noticed that a lot of times what looks optimal in week 1 is the QB +1 stacks. Not saying it doesn't happen ever, but I think it's just because teams just start slower. And this has been years in the making where week 1 is just a lower score. So I have been thinking of doing QB +1, but I think there are certain teams that, maybe we'll lean into it more. Like if you can get, Joe Burrow and, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, like I think we can expect that defense to be bad. So that seems like a team that I would more so do the QB +2. I just don't think I'm trying to force it. I'll just say that. So we're on the clock. Maybe that's how it sets up because I'm going to start with Jamar Chase right here for week 1. So maybe I'll be able to get a double. Maybe not. We'll see. Let's see who else got in here.
Yeah, I think there's a big advantage to nailing the right stack in week 1. Like you mentioned, we do expect it to be a little lower scoring because it generally is to start out the year. But that doesn't mean there aren't going to be a couple teams that absolutely go off or get it done. And I think you get a big advantage if you get those teams correct. Because there are those teams that start out the first few weeks super hot, until the rest catch up to them. So that's why, you nail that week 1 stack. I think you have an advantage going into week 2 as well.
Certainly do. And what I do like about week 1 with the start that we got is we have Cincinnati against what is projected to be a poor Cleveland team. And they got Flacco. So maybe they're going to be poor. I think they will be, but I think the offense will be competent with Flacco, at least for a little bit. You got Flacco, you got Judy, you got Tillman, so you got Njoku. So you do have some pass catchers. And I think Cincinnati's defense is going to be terrible again. So if I can get a Bengals stack and it works out week 1, we'll be good to advance for sure. Are you a Rashid Shaheed believer, Raz? That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, normally, yes. I'm a little worried about this year, obviously, but he was my big play guy all year last year on the pre-lock show on Sundays. And he generally paid off whenever I made the call, in the first quarter. He'd catch a 40 or 50-yard touchdown. I just don't know, coming back from the knee injury plus then the quarterback issues and offensive issues, I'm not sure he has the same big play upside to start out.
100%. It's I like him. I like the player. And I've wanted to draft him in best ball because he's kind of the perfect best ball archetype of player where, he just spikes every now and then for 25 points. But I still, when I'm on the clock, I have a hard time clicking his name. I had to force myself to click his name this year.
It is tough. I feel like I need him to drop a little bit before I can actually click his name from an ADP standpoint.
For sure. And we got Sean here just trolling. Joe Mixon, Tajay Spears are the top 2 picks. Undoubtedly, we got to get those guys. Chris Godwin, we got to get him as well. So, we should be targeting these guys.
Definitely. My dislike of Joe Mixon from last year finally came through, obviously, in training camp, but I couldn't believe everything he was doing last year with all of his mileage and all that stuff. And I kept predicting the downfall. It only took until spring, training camp this year for it to happen.
Never wrong, just early. I was with you last year. I was like, he's going to get hurt for sure. And then he got hurt this year before the first game.
Right.
Which sucks because I was taking him early. And then I was taking Tajay Spears early, and then once there was an injury, just completely backed off. And it's kind of worst case scenario for those guys.
Right.
So Devin Achon is falling. Does anyone know? Is he going to be ready week 1? I don't know what to do with him. I think I could set up.
I have very little.
You have what?
Little of him. I have very little of him overall. Too many questions with him, and then the fact that as soon as Tua goes out, his performance just falls off a cliff too. So it's tough. So
I get what you mean there. And it's interesting in this format that he's now, because he was going at the 1-2 turn. Now in this format, he's going at the end of the second round. And I'm just like, did I miss information on him? Like, I feel like he's still going to play week 1. I could be wrong on that, but I took Kyron there. I thought about taking Amari and Hampton, but with the news of the hour that Najee Harris is not starting on the NFI list, and he could potentially play week 1. I think that bumps Amari and Hampton down for me just a little bit in this type of format anyway. I still love him in regular best ball, but in this type of format, if Najee Harris is good to go, I could see that being like a timeshare week 1. And I'm not worried about that with Kyron Williams. So,
yeah, I think early season Kyron Williams is decent to start out, just reliable enough. So it's tough in this format to, look at a rookie like Hampton. Might be tougher to look at like RJ Harvey even. I know it's your Denver Broncos, but like those guys are ones you kind of want the running back room to shake out over the course of weeks so that the second half of the NFL season is where they show up for season-long best ball.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. It's interesting. I actually took Dobbins. I did one of these a little while ago before we came on, and I took Dobbins and passed on Harvey because of that exact thing. I think Harvey's going to be better as the year goes on, but Dobbins is going to be the guy that you want right away.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. I see Sean mentioning stack the Browns-Bengals game. I was looking on the side just because I was obviously thinking that with the start, but
yeah,
I don't really want to get too much exposure to the Browns because week 2 they're playing at Baltimore. Like,
yeah,
like I want the game stack a little bit, but I don't like after that because it's Green Bay and then Detroit. Week 4 against Detroit, obviously they could have to throw the ball a decent amount, but that week 2 matchup on the road in Baltimore, like I just don't want to be. You wouldn't want to be too heavy on the Browns.
It makes sense.
Sack.
Yeah, the Ravens are a team that can make you look silly for sure, and just put it on you, and that could be like a 31-10 game type thing.
Right.
Interesting here. I just noticed this guy Smokey who took Christian McCaffrey, second overall. Like, it's contrarian, but I don't hate it because I think he can finish as the running back 1, especially early season. You worry less about injuries. But then he followed it up by taking Jalen Hurts before Lamar Jackson, which is interesting. Interesting to say the least. We'll see. Will Joe Burrow make it back to me in the next 2 picks here? 3 picks. We'll see. He has a good chance if he gets past Cold Gorilla.
I was going to say, like, if he gets past here, he should. Like,
right.
Neither of those 2 guys should be doubling up on quarterback right away. But I guess I've seen stranger things happen.
Most definitely. Tough decisions here. All right. There's Joe Burrow. We got it.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's chalk. So from here, I think I like Connor. What are your thoughts?
I like Connor quite a bit. And then I think you get the boost in this format as well. With all the talk about Trey Benson.
Yeah.
That's another one. Like, as the season progresses or Connor breaks down a little bit more, you might lose some steam from Connor, but obviously a first 4-week thing makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Raz. All right. This is a funny comment. These aren't MLB pitchers. Angel.
Jeez.
No, come on. He's better than Angel Reese.
I was like, Angel Reese is what I get. I mean, I can't give Dixon Sider too much crap because he did come up with the sweatshirt idea for Raz GPT. So, like,
okay,
he gets a little bit of a pass, but I mean, Angel Reese of all people, like,
yeah,
I don't know about that one.
No, she's terrible. She's terrible. He was high. All right, Sean. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you, man. Good night. Did you put a long day in at work? It's 5:30 on the East Coast. I mean, that's pretty early, bro. I know you're not that old to be going to bed that early. I haven't seen these shirts. I think I missed this somehow. I have to check that out. Did Tattoo make this for you, or did just Chat GPT make it?
Well, Tattoo and Chat GPT made
Okay.
the design, but Dixon Sider on the MLB pre-lock show started calling me Raz GPT.
Okay.
It kind of stuck, and Tattoo decided to make a sweatshirt out of it. Well, a design out of it. I have some sweatshirts, but
Love it.
yeah, Dixon. It took like 5.5 weeks for me to get the sweatshirts here, and then my order was incorrect. So, my significant other, the girl I've been dating, she got hers. My daughter got mine because it was 3 sizes too small.
All right, 8 picks away. See any big surprises here so far? Not really. I mean, outside of like this drafter, nothing looks too crazy here. I think the Bengals play the Broncos in week 4. So that could be a potential other stack. Would be opposed to. I think that game, I mean, the last time those teams played each other, it did shoot out. I will say the Broncos defense was banged up at secondary in that game, and I don't expect them to be banged up in the secondary this time. Like, I wouldn't expect a shootout, but it is the Bengals, and Joe Burrow has enough weapons that he could certainly, carve the second and third DB up for sure. So
yeah, that would be it. Looks like it's going to be a fun game because it's a Monday night game too. So it'd be the hammer game of the entire contest,
right?
To get there with obviously Cincinnati and then finding a way to have some Denver bring back to it.
Yeah,
would obviously be awesome. Would have been awesome if somehow like Portland Sutton fell all the way, but I mean that obviously was not likely anyways. And I mean Denver, pretty decent schedule the first 2 weeks for this. Tennessee and then at Indy. 2 strong weeks to get some performances. Week 3 at the Chargers, probably a little slower atmosphere, but
yeah, I agree with that. So my thought process there is because we had such a chalk start with Joe Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, I kind of thought maybe we go down the board a little bit. Maybe you reach a little bit, get J.K. Dobbins to kind of get that stack for week 4.
Yeah.
Maybe that game goes crazy.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Like, I guess as a Broncos guy, what do you think of Evan Ingram?
Oh, I like Ingram. It's funny because the market is like so divided on Ingram, and I'm just like, okay, but he had some really good, fantasy years, I think, with Jacksonville. At least he has like enough spike games. He's not an elite tight end. He's not Bowers or McBride or Kittle or anything like that, but he has some spike games, and the Broncos have been starving for a tight end. I mean, it's been Greg Dulcich, who was just cut by the Giants. Like, that was our only hope. So that like kind of tells you like how bad it was at tight end for a while. Like Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, like they very much need a tight end. So I think Evan Ingram is going to be a good buy this year.
Yeah, so like that's one of the guys I would probably was going to tell you to look to target for obviously this team. Mm-hmm. He's just one of my favorite guys that is obviously much lower down the list. Just traditional Sean Payton offenses, like love tight ends, especially red zone tight ends. Like he fits my thinking. But then obviously like, because you can always gamble with, I don't know, Mims or however you see the rest of the wide receiver room playing out. If it's Franklin, most likely.
For sure.
At least that's my feel. I don't know
Yeah.
you're obviously more tuned into Denver than I would be, but
I like Franklin. He's had a good preseason. He had a good camp. I like Bryant. I think that's why they traded Vele, because both Bryant and Franklin were looking so good. And you invested they moved up to get Franklin in the draft, 4th round last year. And then, they spent a 3rd on Bryant. So they made Vele expendable. And I think that bodes well for both Pat Bryant and Franklin. So
I see Evan Engram goes already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's early. That's a little early for him, but not gonna knock it.
I also see the guy that took Josh Allen also took Baker Mayfield, and that to me seems really weird to do
early. Yeah, especially in 4 weeks. Like you don't even I think you can make a case that you just draft Josh Allen and don't draft anyone else because you don't need to cover a bye week, right?
Right.
And in 4 weeks, like you're gonna have. I mean, maybe you'll need another quarterback to carry you through those weeks, but what if Josh Allen comes out of the gate and is playing hot? Then, he's giving you 20 plus points every week. You probably don't need another quarterback. And then this guy
you shouldn't.
He has 3 now. So that is just some very questionable decisions.
Oh, yeah. Definitely does not make sense to me.
Yeah. So I think we can take Njoku. Actually, this is fallen with us, or did he just go? No. He's there. So Njoku's right there, and that is our bring back in the Joe Burrow stack.
Yeah, that one I can definitely live with more than I guess some other Cleveland offensive players. Based on their schedule.
Absolutely, and then I like Charbonnet in regular best ball, but not in this format. I'm thinking I like Coleman. I think Coleman's going to have a big year. Or should we just take Shaheed?
I like Coleman. I mean, I like Coleman a lot more than Shaheed. I think it's a good spot for Coleman to kind of explode. I was looking down to try to figure out how to answer Dick's Insider's question.
This one?
Yeah. I had to look to see where I'm at for some guys.
I was trying to answer it too, so you go first.
I am definitely overexposed to Jaden Blue.
Okay.
I have 38% Jaden Blue right now.
All right. Yeah,
which is overexposed. I also have 33% Isaiah Likely.
I have a lot of Likely too.
Which I think that just fits because he just kept falling because of injury issues. But I think he's just he's amazing as even a tight end 2, and where he was falling was more like tight end 3 in some of these drafts on DraftKings. So
100%. Yeah, the upside with Likely is huge. Like you can, he can get a decent tight end, and then you take Likely, and then you take a late one, and you're like, okay, so now I have like floor and ceiling. Like if Likely is the guy that you need, like if he gets healthy and Andrews continues his decline that we saw last year, like Likely could be tight end 1 with Lamar Jackson. So
right, and he could end up, top 7 or 8 tight end overall, like just based on what his ability is. And if I'm getting that much of him, that late, like there's just so much value from that if he doesn't get there, or if Andrews still stays top of the depth chart for one more year, I lost out on a TE2 on my build. So
well, and he'll have the spike weeks regardless, as long as he gets that ankle healthy. I like to answer Dixon's question. I've been getting a lot of Cam Ward, and it's just because you can stack him easily. I'm high on Ridley this year, so it's been easy to get Ridley and then just stack him later with Cam Ward. Cam Ward's been like a good second quarterback that I can get, and then I take another one like late, like Daniel Jones, just one of these final round quarterbacks. And he's going to bring that like rushing floor. Plus, you can stack him late as well, like backdoor stacks with like Chig or the rookie guy, and he's also one of those quarterbacks that I don't mind in certain builds just running naked as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a lot of Cam Ward and basically across all formats, but I think I'm good with it.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I like Chig quite a bit too. I've really just been spending way down draft capital wise on tight ends. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on, a Bowers or McBride.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to do that either. Okay, this is kind of tough here. All right, I'm just going to take Bateman here. His clock comes so quick. So I took Dylan Sampson there. The main reason is with Judkins not signed, all kinds of like rumors that he might not even play this year. And then I kind of thought it was going to be Jerome Ford, and I've been drafting it that way, but I've been hearing a lot of smoke that Dylan Sampson might be the guy, just even to start the year. So, where I got him there, I think that's perfectly acceptable. And then I took Bateman as well because, I definitely want pieces of the Ravens offense. And when he's healthy, he gets pretty good target share.
Right.
And
yeah,
these
I
other
don't know
guys
what to do.
I'm just like, I don't know. Addison, suspension, injury, right. Burden, rookie with a lot of mouths to feed. I didn't want another like pass catcher from the Browns.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with Sampson and Ford. Like, if they're going to be as bad as they seem like and have to throw the ball a bit more, I think Ford probably has a little bit more value early on, but I don't know. Like, Sampson probably just has more upside even early on, because we've seen Ford before, and I mean, it's not overly exciting at this point. I mean, if it was, then they wouldn't have drafted 2 running backs too. So, I don't know. Like, Sampson probably makes the most sense because they weren't sold on Ford initially anyway, or coming into the year as it was. So it's just tough. Being unpredictable is annoying, especially when it's an unpredictable and not great team.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's not like it doesn't feel good for sure getting either of those guys at this point. Andrew, to answer your question, I do that, especially if I like the pass catchers like Njoku, or I do like Tillman quite a bit. If I like the talent, I certainly will do that. And I'd like to give myself like potential late stacking options. And I don't think Ward he's not going to be Jaden Daniels good. So, but I do think where he's going, he's going to provide a good enough of a floor. And I think he could, give us some good spike weeks. So I'm not going there. I'm not going to all the way to Jaden Daniels, but I think he's definitely the best quarterback in this year's class. And he's a little undervalued.
Yeah, I don't think he offers the same kind of floor at the quarterback position that Jaden Daniels even did as like an experienced college guy coming out. Ward is still somewhat raw and different because he bounced around a lot and kind of flew up the boards over the last 2 years. Like, I think he's going to be somebody that makes some really exciting splash plays, but then there's going to be some games where it's like, what did you just do? Type things. So
most definitely.
Plus, I think the Jaden Daniels year last year is more of an outlier than
absolutely
expecting another one, even within 4 or 5 years coming from a rookie quarterback to do. So
it's going to be real hard. And I mean, we might just have to take Cam Ward again, but let's see what's coming up here.
I don't know what kind of schedule they. I mean, tough week 1, obviously, with Denver. Going into Denver to make your debut.
Real tough.
But obviously, we don't need that week 1. We have Burrow, whatever. I mean, Cam Ward, like week 3 and week 4, probably his best opportunity early in the season. The Colts and then at the Texans. So
I'm just gonna.
He's not a bad guy to kind of gamble with because you really don't necessarily need him at all. but in the two most important weeks, quote unquote, pretty decent spots if he can, survive the first 2 weeks roughly. That week 2 against the Rams and their defensive line might be a little tougher, but
yeah, for sure. For sure. You're right about that. And, he could still like have some rookie games where he makes mistakes and, throws a couple interceptions. But if he's running around a lot, 40, 50, 60 yards, that certainly could salvage a week. I remember like beginning of the season, like Bo Nix was running a lot and, he wasn't really throwing touchdowns at that point, but he was still having a pretty decent floor with his running. So, week 1 is not good for sure, but we got Joe Burrow week 1, hopefully to carry us and kind of just, I think, a little bit of an insurance if Joe Burrow has a down week here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, generally to win this with the team, we're just going to need Joe Burrow to be Joe Burrow for the first 4 weeks.
For sure.
Obviously the insurance can help. And like I mentioned, at the right time, week 3 and 4, best opportunity for him to showcase it. It sounds like a decent spot to gamble on to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we probably got to get another tight end here pretty soon. Maybe we'll be able to get Ward and Shake stacked together. I doubt he'll make it all the way back, but who knows? Maybe he will. We can start looking at some other running back targets. Definitely. I would actually love to take Najee if he makes it back to us.
It could be very interesting. Really don't know what his role obviously is going to be because didn't get any time in because of everything. But like you mentioned, him not going on the PUP list, very interesting. And the week 4 matchup against the Giants seems decent, but I mean, week 2 against Vegas as well, probably a pretty good spot.
Definitely, yeah. I don't think Vegas is going to be good this year. I know people think they are, but I just don't see it. And if you believe what Vegas thinks of Vegas, they're going to be, bottom. They're the 6th worst team for projected points with 21 points a game. So, yeah. But I think on the other side of that is you probably will get the Chargers as favorites in that game, right? And that's typically what you want to target is favored running backs.
Right.
I was surprised too. I thought he wasn't going to play to start the year.
Yeah, it's just really surprising. Another, slight correlation wise, like the Chargers also played Denver week 3.
Okay. Yeah,
so
that's
nice.
I
mean, obviously we have a little bit of Denver exposure as well. So, like, it's a way to correlate multiple weeks. For some matchups. So definitely makes sense to me. I mean, I'm trying to multitask here. Like, I got NFL schedule up on one monitor. I'm going through MLB projections on another. Looking at NFL best balls on my phone. Like, talk about our children being overstimulated by devices, and I got everything running that I possibly can.
Yeah, so it's so funny this time of year. Like, talk about being overstimulated. It's just like can't put my phone down. It's like best ball drafts, like staying into the news, checking the Discord messages. It's like I have to like schedule time where I just go for a walk and I just listen to like music or like podcasts because too much screen time for sure.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the case. All the stimulation, and I'm chugging Celsiuses all day long, and
so I reached a little bit there on Mason Taylor, but I feel like I needed another tight end. Because I don't like just hammering like a last like 2-round tight ends that aren't going to contribute. Like Mason Taylor was one of the best tight ends in the draft. So wanted to get him there. And, I didn't really like any of the running backs in that range. I feel good on wide receiver for now. Might take a couple late, but we got 6 of them. We got 5 running backs. I think we're set at quarterback. Won't take another one. So was happy to get Najee there. Past ADP, people aren't really paying attention to the news of the day. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen it yet, and you brought it up, so that's why I was caught off guard a little bit. But I mean, it makes sense. Trying to think, somebody I was looking. What are your thoughts now on Torrey Horton with Seattle releasing MVS?
I love it. Yeah, I think Torrey Horton, the way the preseason, the training camp that he had, the way he played in the preseason games, I think he made MVS expendable. And I think the biggest thing is there's opportunity there. Like I really like JSN this year because I think he's going to get a ton of targets and he's looked good. But it's like, well, after him, there's just like a bunch of nobodies, really. There's Kupp, who looked very washed last year. And maybe I'm wrong about Kupp, and maybe he will turn things around. But he looked very washed that last year. So I think behind JSN, like there's real opportunity for Torrey Horton to really smash his ADP.
Yeah, somebody that I was trying to get early on. Now we're just going to kind of see him rise up because of all that news. And obviously his performance in training camp as well. But yeah, definitely somebody I want. I want more exposure to.
I like it.
I feel like they're going to run enough 3 wide sets there too, that I think it can make some sense.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, as much as I like Arroyo as a rookie tight end, it's still a rookie tight end. And I don't think Barner's like some big pass catcher. I know he caught some touchdowns last year, but I feel like he's more of a blocking and then red zone guy. I think Horton probably is going to surprise, as a 5th round draft pick. So
I agree. Yeah, I think it's a good play there. So Pat Bryant fell a little bit past ADP, so I love that pick. And if that Broncos and Bengals game goes berserk on Monday night and we're in that final, we have a good shot here, I think.
Yeah, definitely enough correlation within the build here. Obviously, even you have just took Likely, and like I mentioned, we obviously have some Cleveland exposure, who they play in week 2. We have Coleman as well, correct?
We do, yeah.
And that's Baltimore and Buffalo play week 1. So just a lot of pieces touching across these 4 weeks that to me makes sense.
Definitely. And when we were talking about earlier, like the likely pick, so we have Njoku as our starter, and then we have a couple other guys here who likely, if he's healthy, we know he's going to be a good tight end this year. But I think we have enough of a floor and ceiling with these tight ends, with the trio of tight ends that we have. So
yeah, I definitely agree.
All right, let me answer a couple of these questions real quick, rapid fire. I do believe they're going to use Jameson Williams more this year. I like Jameson Williams a lot this year. Any love for Franklin? We were just talking about Franklin. We like Franklin this year. He's been, and this goes back to OTAs. There's just been a steady drumbeat with Franklin. And really, I think you could say it started last year. Like he caught the touchdown pass in the playoff game, the wild card round against the Bills. And Franklin was always a guy that was a developmental guy, and he wasn't going to be like a year 1 star, but they had a vision for him clearly. And he had really strong OTAs, and it carried over into training camp and then the preseason games. So I think with the the Vele trade, they made it clear that they believe in Franklin and Bryant, who both had a good preseason. So I've been taking Franklin for a while. I've been getting him in the last round of drafts, but yeah, now he's shooting up to like round 15. So that discount is over. But I like him. All right. Damian Pierce went. I've been taking him in the last round of drafts. That's clearly not going to happen here. Who else do we take? What do you think about Justice Hill? Let's do that.
I think it makes sense from our. I mean, it just makes sense from some of the correlation that we've played out. Yeah. You know, week 1 could be a higher scoring game at Buffalo, or Baltimore might have to score a little bit more. Maybe some more third down pass catching spots for him as well. I haven't taken much of him just because like he ends up going in ranges where I'm probably looking at tight ends in my, season long stuff, but I think he makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in this scenario where like Baltimore's blowing out a team, like maybe he spikes, because we've seen some big Justice Hill weeks, in garbage time for sure.
Yeah, and I mean also like I didn't touch on Baltimore, like week 3 they're against Detroit, week 4 at Kansas City. Like they have some high scoring weeks the first 4 weeks of the year. Like week 2 high scoring just because they could blow out Cleveland at home. But Detroit, Buffalo, Kansas City, the other 3 weeks, like they can be higher scoring. Like that Kansas City game in week 4 has the makings of being either higher scoring or a 9-6 game by the end of it for whatever reason. But yeah, they seem to have Baltimore seems to have a schedule that probably fits this kind of contest pretty well.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good point there, Raz. And yeah, overall, I like the team. We got the Burrow double stack. We were able to pull it off without someone sniping us on Joe Burrow, taking Joe Burrow unstacked just to be a jerk. Just to mess up our day,
the amount of times that happens is insane. Like it never makes sense to me, but yet it seems to always happen.
Right. Too much for sure. So, up top we got some heavy hitters, and then Odunze, he's the guy I actually like the most in Chicago this year. If Keon Coleman takes a step this year, especially if like Shakir's not ready week 1, then, I think we'll be sitting pretty good with this lineup. And I think we're good at running back. And, one thing you notice here is we really didn't take a bunch of rookies, right? Like we want guys that are going to play and contribute right away. Kyron Williams should have that bell cow role. So should James Conner. We project J.K. Dobbins to be the guy week 1. And then it's kind of up in the air on Dylan Sampson. We took a little bit of a gamble there. That's what you're going to have to do to win this tournament. And then, Najee, kind of same thing. But he is in line to potentially be ready week 1. And I like how we finished it out with tight ends. So a lot of correlation, and guys should have a heavy role early.
Yeah, I like the way that kind of came together for me, at least. Especially because like not necessarily that we researched ahead of time and then we were able to just correlate across some things on the fly. Like I know there's a lot of people that obviously doing content for this. I've watched a lot of it, recently, that they're so versed on all the matchups that they don't really even have to think about it while they're drafting. They just automatically know which teams correlate with who. But given that it's, the first 4 weeks, like there hasn't been enough time to really study that and learn that, on top of the week 15 through 17 stuff.
Right. It's normally the week 17, that people are, stacking. And it's funny because I did so many eliminator drafts and weekly winner drafts this year that I like didn't get like too crazy into all the week 17 correlations. And then, I did a bit towards the end, but really was just focused on the weekly winners and the eliminators. But let's just survey the chat real quick. Does anyone want to hop over to Drafters and do a draft? Because I don't mind doing another one of those. We certainly could do that, but wanted to, see if anyone wanted to get in over on Drafters, their main event, chase an overlay. Like I said earlier, it's 58% full. It's 500K to first. And the way they do it, again, when we were just talking about this, the week 17 correlation over on Drafters, you don't have to worry about that because it's more of a marathon style draft. It's cumulative scoring. So it's weeks 1 through 17, whichever team has the highest score wins the 500K. So there's no playoffs. We can do this if y'all want. If we get some comments in the chat that people want to hop in. Otherwise, I think we would just do Underdog again because these ones on Drafters feel a little bit slower than the norm. So I don't want to have to wait. All right, let me answer some of these questions. I mean, if you could screenshot that you were on stream for sure, I'll send you $20 or whatever, something like that. I won't forget you, Dixon.
Impossible to forget Dixon.
Are you guys excited about Rattler? I'm not. I think Shook is gonna Shook, however you pronounce it. I think they're all gonna start. Both of those guys are gonna play some games this year. So no, I don't think Rattler is good. I think he showed that last year. And definitely not all in on him. No way. What are your thoughts, Raz?
I mean, I think I would have to do 1,000 best ball lineups before I drafted one Rattler share.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really taking anybody from the Saints anyway. I'm a Shaheed fan, but I'd rather just use Shaheed on a weekly basis, not rely on him for 17 weeks. I'm super out on Kamara. My take is obviously completely opposite of Geeks, but easy for Kamara to get banged up and then just mail it in. For a team that's just not gonna do much. He's gotten paid. It's not like he's somebody on his rookie contract that wants to get paid. That Saints offense is no thanks for me.
Yeah, I can. The exception to that, one guy I've been getting late is Olave, just because Olave where he's going is just good value, and he's obviously he's not like a guy you need to carry you, but I think they are going to be bad and they're still going to force feed him the ball, so I think he's still going to have good weeks. And at cost, everyone's viable at cost, right? So right. I'm with you though. I would prefer Olave because he's going to be the first read in the offense as opposed to a guy like Shaheed, for example, who's going to be that deep threat. And I just think he's going to be, far less consistent this year than he would in years past.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably have more Juwan Johnson than anybody, but that's tight end 3 in a couple builds or the 2 weeks where he might score 2 touchdowns randomly that I might need. But other than that, just a throw in, not somebody I'm trying to target.
Absolutely. All right. I got to take a quick restroom break. I'm going to let Raz answer this question real quick, and then we'll hop in a draft.
1-3 redraft PPR. I mean, I still think at 1-3 it's probably Saquon. I know there's a lot of worry about his usage last year, and will that wear him down, so to speak, this season? I don't necessarily believe so. I still think he's probably the guy that we're going to take in that spot. It's definitely a debate if you really, really think that Saquon's taking a step back. Do you want to go with Gibbs? I don't know, because I think some of what make Gibbs explosive is the Ben Johnson offense, right? Like the usage is correct and everything. So like there's enough questions there too that to me I think it's Saquon somewhat easily. I mean, if you're anti-running back in the first round, then CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson, if you really want to, do it. As much as I love the Vikings and Justin Jefferson, like CeeDee Lamb's target share and games, he just plays, might put him ahead of Justin Jefferson for me just slightly. I think Jefferson just has more upside, as a home run pick.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate that. Let's hop into another first quarter. Why don't we just run it back? These are drafts I know we can get in pretty quickly. So, and I say that now we're waiting for 8 people, but I'm guessing one of these just filled. So we'll see how fast
Probably
this goes. But by the way, guys, I want to show you something real quick here. So, in addition to the best ball and brews, we're actually going to be doing DFS content on Underdog Fantasy this year. So I'm guessing they're probably going to drop the Battle Royale week 1 probably tomorrow or the next day. But they've already started to drop their DFS slate. This is for the Thursday through Friday main slate, because I'm pretty sure there's a game Thursday night and there's a game Friday. So they're already starting to drop their DFS slate. So this is something that DFS Army subscribers are going to have in addition to the DraftKings and FanDuel content that we do for NFL. We are going to be doing Underdog content this year. So I'm going to be doing a show. I'm going to be doing a cheat sheet. So the show goes on for Underdog. We're not giving Underdog drafts up just because best ball season is coming to a close. We are actually just starting to ramp it up. So excited about that. We got that coming up. It's going to be very fun. Looking forward to that. We got this contest about to fill. So this is the last week, guys. If you want to get access to all the tools, the coach's notes, which we have Raz as a coach, we have a lot of sharp people, Bobby Wow, 2-time Millie Maker winner, the cheat sheets every week, the domination station, the research station, the Discord community, all the tools. This is the last week to get the discount. So $50 off for the entire season with code NFL25, or 50% off your first month with promo code NFL2025. This will be ending on September 1st. So you want to get this while you can. This is going to be in the video description. So join us. You can be like Raz here, win 50K.
Feels like forever ago at this point.
Doesn't it? It sucks. It's very much of what have you done lately type of a game, isn't it?
It is. And it's so weird because like that summer with the 50K, like there's just so many other big wins. Like there are 2 other 5-figure wins that I had after that. Like just a massive baseball summer, and it just feels, I don't know, like it was 10 years ago. And it's only been a couple seasons now.
I know, right? It got that right. UCF Jaguar. I think I've seen UCF in the chat. UCF, are you here? We got Drago in this one. What's up, Drago? You made it. This is a tough question. The 3-for-1 trades, I'm not really like a super big fan of. I would ask what format is this? Are we talking dynasty? Are we talking redraft? Tell me.
Like generally in those scenarios with trades, like I just want to receive the best player. So it's tough for me to give up Drake London in that scenario. Considering like Chubb is not expected to be like the full-time guy all season long. I mean, you're high on Ridley. Golden's getting a ton of buzz here in the Green Bay area. But man, it's tough.
Yeah, I think it's tough too. It's a really hard trade to answer just because, like, I would say in Dynasty, I would do that trade because you're getting two wide receivers that I like, and one could be, could be special. Or maybe not special, but he could be a pretty good receiver in Golden. But in redraft, I think I'd be less inclined to do that.
He did say that it's a redraft, and the biggest thing for me is he just said it's a half point PPR. That actually makes the trade closer.
Yeah.
Like I think London loses some value in a half point PPR because he's generally not a huge play guy. But then again, like Ridley's kind of the same thing at this point. But yeah, it's a lot closer at a half point PPR.
This is a tough decision. I wanted to take London there. Speaking of, I'm a big London fan, but
I am too. But
yeah, I think in this format, like I wanted to get the running back there, and I like Bucky on the Bucks. I like the Bucks again a lot this year.
Yeah, that's one of those offenses super condensed that we just know that are going to be good. Really, a lot like those Steelers offenses years ago when it was Le'Veon, Antonio Brown,
absolutely
Roethlisberger doing it. It's kind of the setup that they have at this point. A little more spread out than that Steelers offense was, but still, it's a lot of upside.
No doubt. What's up, Jaguar? I knew you were in the draft. I was like, I've seen that name before. Like you start with Henry in London. It's good stuff. Let's see what Drago does here. Coming up. All right, so let's see about setting up a Detroit stack. We got Detroit and Cleveland week 4. Okay. Who do the Bucks play week 4? Philly. Okay. That's a tough matchup for them week 4.
Yeah. Obviously could be still higher scoring though, too.
Yeah.
Were they at home or at Philly week 4?
I think they're at home.
They're at home.
That's better.
Yeah, so that feels better.
Yeah.
Philly at home. Definitely a much tougher defense to deal with. And plus Baker on the road, I'm not as confident in their offense on the road as I am when they are at home.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. See, Drago started Gibbs, Lamar, Mike Evans. A.J. Brown just went. Cook, Kittle. I was hoping Kittle would make it back to me. He's been going sooner and sooner in drafts. I get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of steam for him. Obviously based on their wide receiver situation.
Yeah.
But
so Higgins falling a bit. I think I'll just scoop up that value.
Yeah, that seems like strong value.
Yeah. Where's JMO? There went Kenneth Walker. I thought about taking him, but he's gone. Well, if I take Hurts there, which I did, I do have a little potential stack set up with Philly and Tampa Bay week 4.
Yeah, that works.
I really got to prioritize running back down, though.
Yeah, I don't think Egbuka will make it all the way back either to help.
No.
Kind of focus on that part, but
yeah. At one point, Tyreek Hill was going in like the end of the second. He was going in like the third, like early third, right around McConkey. And it was an easy click every time for McConkey. It's starting to slip quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, like even for me, I think it's an easier click on Mike Evans, easier click on Terry McLaurin, especially now.
Sure.
Not easier for me to take like Marvin Harrison over him because I'm just not a Harrison fan with Kyler.
Yeah, I agree.
And then that dude definitely took Rashee Rice in the 4th round, huh?
I mean, so there is a case to be made that they're saying that he might not get suspended the first 4 games. And it might be like week 6 through week 10. So that would be great for this format. But it's like also so up in the air that I just like, I hate gambling like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of gambling in spots. I just don't feel like that's a spot to gamble on.
Yeah.
But I mean, if somebody has a little more information on it, then maybe he fits this draft at that point, gets to play 4 weeks and then gets suspended, I guess. But
right. So Kenny, I would make that trade. I would make that trade in a second for Gibbs and JSN. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bijan is RB1 going into the season, and understandably, but it's not like Gibbs is a full round later. Like Gibbs is 3 picks later, roughly 4 picks.
Yeah.
In the first round, like they're close enough that you're getting JSN, who's I don't even know what he's like 4th rounder right now, 4th, 5th, somewhere in there.
Right.
Like seems like a no brainer to me, unless you're stacked at wide receiver, like. Then you don't necessarily need to make that deal.
Right. Oh, I think I messed up there. So do I take Pollard here or Devonta Smith when he comes back around?
I think you take Pollard. Like I get, obviously, but like Hurts is one of those guys where you don't necessarily need to stack him, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I just don't think you want to thin yourself at running back more, like unless there's somebody you thought that's going to make it all the way back around.
Yeah.
That you're fine with at RB2, but if it was a different quarterback that we had in that spot, like then I would lean towards the stack. But since it's Hurts, that's one of those guys that I just generally don't lean into a stack.
Yeah, I agree. And you could get Goddard with him later too.
Right.
And, especially whenever we've seen one of A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith go out, like Goddard gets quite a bump in targets. So,
right.
Yeah, and I think Pollard, with the news of Tajay Spears missing 4 weeks, like I think he's a smash right now. So
yeah, especially this format wise, yeah. Like, I'd probably argue that he could have gone around earlier, based on that news in this format.
Yeah, agree with that. All right, so Drago here we got. He took Jameson. I knew Jameson wasn't going to get back to me. I thought about maybe doing a line stack, but I knew he wouldn't make back. So he got Gibbs and J-Mo there. A little correlation. Then Lamar, Evans, Swift, and Hawkinson. We saw Harvey. JCM went in the 7th, beginning of the 7th. People are sure he's going to be the starter and carry the load right away. I'm not sure that he will.
I'm not one of those people. Yeah.
Yeah. Me neither. So if we were drafting the puppy, for example, like I would like him in that format because the puppy is newer. Like they just dropped another one the other day. So, it's not like the BBM where you're going against the 18th round JCM drafters. So I would draft him in that format. And also, like, you don't need him to carry the load right away. You just need him to come on at some point. But in this format, I wouldn't do it. Yes, yeah. I think Goddard will be the plan. We'll see. We shall see. God, I might just have to double up on J.K. Dobbins if he makes it back to me. Looks like he will. He's been so undervalued, I feel like, this year, but I may be a Broncos fan. I don't know.
Sometimes when you can use your fandom to your benefit, like it's a huge thing. You just have to realize that you're a fan, and so you need to just take an extra second to make sure you're thinking about it clearly. But the fact that you might have access to more information than the other people that are in your draft about that particular team, you can definitely use it correctly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And it's funny because last year I was actually a little gun shy to play Broncos, even though like I liked them more than the market did. Like I was just like, oh, I don't want to be a homer. Like I'm gonna have just a little bit of Knicks. And a lot of times like I needed to have a lot of Knicks. It was just so yeah, to your point, I think it does. It can be an edge. You just have to know when to hit the gas and when to hit the brakes with it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And like that's the case in regular DFS too. Like we just deal with a lot of people that they're fans of certain spots. So like they want to jump all over their favorite team, and it becomes tough to try to talk them down a little bit to explain. Like, you have to think a little differently about the spot. But yeah, like, I mean, that's why we use insiders for a lot of things we do too, right? Like,
of course,
get information that we try to make actionable. We just have to take the emotion part out of it.
Yeah, that's why I love the Coach Speak Index. Like, discovering them, the work they do has been great because they sift through all of it for you, and they can provide like actual data for it. Like this coach has an 80% reliability, when talking about, player usage type thing. And that's important. So you don't just take one quote and run with it. And it turns out he lies all the time.
Right.
All right. So we probably need a tight end soon, but the draft isn't really falling to the point where like it's a good pocket to pick tight ends. Like I personally I'm a Loveland guy, but I'm not a Loveland guy like in this format.
I'm not really a Loveland guy at all, but I mean, generally like those, aside from Bowers last year, those rookie type tight ends that get steamed up with all this offseason talk usually aren't performing the way that are expected because, like, aside from quarterback, like tight end is arguably the toughest position for them to learn coming in. At least we've seen over the years, like rookie tight ends generally struggle. So,
no, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we've seen guys like they were projected to be really good, not be good, like Kincaid, for example.
It just takes a little bit to find the right role. And I think there's just so many moving parts with that Bears offense that I don't see him, getting his footing right away as his rookie year.
Yeah. Queue up Goddard as a stacking option. Didn't really love the picks in that section. I think Kirk, from the sound of it, he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be used early and often. So I took Kirk there. I didn't love the pick, but just one of those that I felt was a good spot right there, as opposed to like reaching on a tight end. I didn't want to take another quarterback that early. Was starting with Jalen Hurts, and I like Javonte Williams there as a starter in the ninth. Like again, when we go back to the fan thing, like I was scorned by Javonte last year, but I took him because I knew he was going to be the starter the whole year. And he just wasn't good. But again, like this would be year 3 removed from the knee injury, and he's projected to be the starter on what could be like a high octane offense. So I've just been taking him. And especially in this format, I'm like, okay, so who cares if they decide that he's not good after like 4 weeks? You know what I mean? But like that's really where I need him, is for the 4 weeks.
I mean, I'm kind of convinced at this point that he just is not that good.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting on it for multiple years too. Like I have him in a dynasty league somewhere. I keep falling for it, and I probably shouldn't at this point.
Yeah. So the bad part is he was really good his rookie year, but he was in a timeshare with Melvin Gordon. But he was good. And then he started, and then they got Russell Wilson, and he started that year, the first 2 games, like he was good. And then he tore up his knee like the 3rd game, and just has not been the same since. Okay. So I think we could, speaking of, Ferguson might make it back to us. I love Ferguson as a target. We could potentially double up on tight end here, take Ferguson and Goddard. Or maybe we take Sampson. What are your thoughts?
I think I don't mind doubling up on tight end.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that, because we've been hitting running back and wide receiver pretty good.
Yeah, I think doubling tight ends, getting 2 guys that are somewhat similar. Or in the similar range. Just hoping we can nail one of them, correctly.
Goddard's gone. Do we think about Kincaid?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I'd go with him. I don't necessarily love it, but I also like.
Yeah. I don't either. It didn't feel good. I thought for sure that Goddard would make it back to us, but this guy just double tapped tight end. So he now has 3 tight ends through 12 rounds, which is okay. Let's see how UCF is doing here. Start with Henry, London, Williams, Tyreek Hill, Ibuka. I like the Ibuka pick. Pacheco, Warren. I like Warren a lot. Mayfield, so he got his stack with Ibuka, Mayfield. Then went down Shaheed, Allen, Penix. So, yeah, I think overall and he got London to stack with Penix. Overall, I like what he's done in the draft. Let's see Drago. We knew how he started. He went Swift, Hawkinson, then went Flowers, and he did have Lamar. Yeah, so stacked up Lamar. Flowers, I like that. ETN, Kraft, Mims, Love, and Ollie Gordon. A lot of correlation there, Drago. I like it. All right, so we got to look at maybe taking – I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do we just roll with one quarterback? Is Hurts going to be our guy, or do we try to get a backup?
I think we get a backup. Obviously, the big reason is like injury concerns with him with the running. Even the goal line touchdowns, like the lowering the head, like concussion things. Kind of seems weird because we really like similar to last team where we needed Burrow to just get it done for 4 weeks. We do kind of need Hurts to do that, but I think he's just at too much of a risk for injury. I just don't know who we go with. It's the big question. Is it Cam Ward again?
I have so much Cam Ward. I mean, people's just letting me have him, so I just keep taking him. This is what it is. Can get Najee again here. I mean, there's also Geno Smith. He's got late stacking options. Well, I mean, you could get Thornton and come back and get Geno.
Right.
And there we just went Thornton, so that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Chig went, so if you want, you can run Ward naked, or you can get Eluk later. It's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
I think I'm just taking it.
Yeah, probably go Ward, and like if you end up having to run with him naked at whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing.
Don't love this wide receiver range. Or just take Najee again. Just probably be done with running back.
Yeah. If I was running back, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're really just in this kind of contest, you're really just trying to bank on your top two guys being
right,
strong all 4 weeks to where you don't have to.
Right.
But then you take a couple flyers, obviously, like Dobbins, Najee, Javonte. Could have a big week or two within those four.
Sure.
But you're not necessarily sure how the roles shake out.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, you almost just aim for touchdown potential is there, right? Like,
yeah,
Javonte could still end up being like, could as the season goes on, maybe more goal line back. I don't know, but Najee for sure, right? Like,
yeah.
So those first couple weeks, like Najee could pull like a Gus Edwards and score 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks or whatever, and run for 25 yards a game, but.
Definitely. And, I know a lot of people like Marion Hampton, but there were people that did not think that he was as polished as some might have thought. Like, the upside is very high. Like, he's got breakaway speed. He's a big physical back. But sometimes, like, you saw it a little bit in like that first preseason game. Like, the vision isn't always like super great with a guy like that. So like I could see Najee, if he's active week 1, like I could see it being pretty split. And then, at some point Amari and Hampton like starts to run away with the job. But, oftentimes we see these veterans, like they have a big role to start the year before it starts to shift.
Yeah. And I mean, Najee kind of has a history of doing that where, like people thought that it was more Jalen Warren last year with Pittsburgh, and didn't Najee start out hotter? So like he's one of those guys that I think is better early season, and he just wears down as the season progresses.
Yeah. All right, we're good at running back. I don't want to feel like I'm taking all the same guys, but if they give me Pat Bryant, I'll take him here. And then I would come back and get Coker, I think.
Yeah, I like Coker. I know they cut Hunter Renfrow today.
Yeah.
Which I think then makes me believe that they're not trading Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Unless they were cutting him to make sure he's not guaranteed money week 1, and then they'll re-sign him if they trade Thielen. I don't know, but that's at least one person kind of out of the way for Coker. And if Carolina trades Thielen to the Vikings, like then Coker kind of just jumps
for sure
for me.
I've been loving Coker this offseason. It's just like as a guy that I feel is undervalued. They said he's gonna be part of the plans. Like, caught a touchdown in the first preseason game. He's just he's just been overvalued. I think he's fantasy points per route run. He was one of the better wide receivers last year. People just like to write him off because he wasn't a high draft pick, but he's been good. So
yeah, those are really the kind of guys that we want to find, especially those slot type, short range, short A-dot guys. Like, the Patriots made famous years ago, right? And their big time runs, like they just always had that guy. And a lot of times it was, Julian Edelman was what, 7th rounder or undrafted or whatever. Danny Amendola, like there's just random names that just had Wes Welker, big time performances out of that role that kind of came out of nowhere.
Absolutely. Right on that. Happens far too often, actually. And we like to forget, but it happens. So looking back on this, we don't have a stack with Jalen Hurts, but it's fine because of the tush push. We do have Cam Ward and Tony Pollard. So we have, quarterback and his running back stack. We're not going to be able to force a wide receiver. But, come to think of it, did Lockett make the team?
I haven't heard that he's been released, so I guess maybe he's there.
Lockett is the perfect type of guy for this contest. Like, have a roll right away and then just kind of fade away.
Right away.
Yeah.
I know they released Restrepo.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, we got 2 picks left, so let's take a tight end here. Just whoever. Dalton Schultz, I think, is decent. He does correlate with Christian Kirk a little bit there. And then, yeah, I think we could take a shot on Lockett. Why not?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, it's wide receiver 7 or whatever on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
8 or whatever. So correlation then obviously fits there. But yeah, for New England, definitely insert short white dude. But in general, like it just seems like those slot receivers that blow up for a handful of years in a row are more so the undrafted, forgot about guys than they are the high draft picks that you expect to take that role. Generally, those guys, like they may start out as slot guys, but then teams move them to the outside because they're more important, opening up a slot role on the inside. So, yeah, like Coker kind of fits that. He's not a white guy or anything, but just kind of fits that undrafted guy that blows up as a slot.
He's fiery. I think that's what a lot of those guys have, They just like play with a lot of intensity. They're just dogs. Brandon Stokely had that too. He's just another like short white guy like Brandon Stokely, But yeah, I think points well taken. So let's wrap this look at this, the end of this draft real quick. I do like the running backs. I like the quarterbacks. Like, it would have been nice to get like Devonta Smith or like Goddard. But I think Hurts does enough running that it'll be okay. And then we did stack Ward with both Tony Pollard and Tyler Lockett late. I do like the backs. Bucky Irving, Pollard, Dobbins, Javonte, Najee. Like, we basically have 4 starters right here to get us through the 4 weeks. And at wide receiver, like same thing. Amon-Ra, one of the best wide receivers in the league. That's why he's a first-round wide receiver. T. Higgins, he fell a little bit here, about 6 spots past ADP. So I do like T. Higgins in that Cincinnati offense. This should be very pass-heavy again. We love Ricky Pearsall, especially to start the year. Juwan Jennings, we still don't know if he's going to play week 1. I've heard conflicting reports. He's on track to play week 1, and then he might not play to start the year. So we don't know. but we know Ayuk isn't going to be there. So Ricky Pearsall should get a lot of volume. Stephon Diggs does look on track to start week 1. I expect him to be the wide receiver 1. So yeah, I think overall, I like this team pretty good. And I think we did okay with tight ends as well, with Ferguson there kind of leading the way. But didn't love it as much as last one, but I think it's a good draft. And you know how it is, Raz. You don't always love the lineup that sometimes ends up winning. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's unfortunately happens far more than it should.
Yeah.
Like obviously the issue that don't really love with this team is the fact that, the plans didn't really fall our way as far as additional correlation or whatever, how we're looking at it. And that's kind of why that first team looks better, on paper.
Yeah.
But
absolutely,
really the big thing is to try to not panic in the draft and like completely blow up what you're trying to do, because then you just kind of end up in no man's land with your build.
Yeah, you got a point there. And I think there are secondary stacks. Like we got Higgins and J.K. Dobbins. That's that Denver Cincinnati game. So, they're there, and the correlation is certainly there. We got Pat Bryant as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of to your point. Like draft rooms just get weird, and you just gotta take it as it comes. So
right.
Yeah, and then I like what Drago did here at the end. Ended up getting Likely. That's a good pick. We'll see how UCF finished this out. Benson, Horton, Fannin. I've been a Fannin guy. I like that pick a lot. Late upside tight end, especially in Joku. He seems to always have like some type of element. So really like Fannin as a prospect. And then, we talked about Torrey Hart last draft. So I like that too. Getting Roshan Johnson round 18, that's pretty good, I feel like. Because there were a lot of weeks last year where Roshan Johnson vultured DeAndre Swift. So, not a bad 18th round pick.
Yeah, I like that one. I've been trying to take a little bit more Roshan. Just because we obviously know that Ben Johnson loves a true running back system. So,
yeah.
And I'm not overly sold on Monangai, but having watched him play in the Big Ten, like I don't think he's anything special that should, steal away a role. So,
of course, yeah, I agree with you on that. Well, Raz, what do you got going on? Got some MLB? Got an MLB show coming up?
They should be done with the MLB show now. At least I hope. I didn't even look to see if we didn't have it yesterday. I hope they had it today. I should probably pay attention to that since I'm in charge of it. But
yeah. Well, right on. Thanks for joining me. And
no problem.
Keep knocking out these draft guys. We got 9 days until the kickoff. And, if you like this kind of content, for sure, let us know. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel specifically because we got a lot more coming your way. Like I said, they are starting to drop NFL Week 1 DFS content on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to drop the Battle Royale, I'm guessing, in the next couple days. Actually, have an article that I'm working on for that, so keep a lookout for that. I'll drop that on the site. How to attack the Battle Royale contest. It's a really fun contest. It's a large field GPP, pays, I think, like $40K to first every single week. So that'll be one we will be covering on this channel. And again, if you want to take advantage and join the DFS Army, now's the time to do it. This is the last week of these promos. $50 off NFL 25. That gets you the entire year of NFL DFS content. That also gets you UFL DFS and best ball content. And if you just want to try it out for 1 month, you don't want to commit to a full year, NFL 2025 that gets you 50% off your first month. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. We will be back on the channel. A lot more content coming your way. We got best ball, Draft-A-Palooza with Geek, and then, of course, some more MLB content the rest of the way. So we will see y'all next time.